their Android devices. And I said, oh wow, market research, this is great. What do you like about your device? And they said, well, I love the apps. And I was like, how many apps have you installed? Oh, at least 30. And I was like, wow, that's pretty amazing. And these weren't really technically savvy people. And I said, well, what's your favorite app? And she clicks, around, she puts it up, and there's this little progress bar that's going by. And it says, checkbox, no viruses found. Right? Like, there's no purpose for this app whatsoever. It probably did a bunch of really nefarious things like phone home, right? But users have been so trained to have a poor experience or take an experience that's good enough and ubiquitous and just run with it. And I think that's kind of what's going to happen with Android, for better or for worse. Yeah.
No, I mean, the only other thing I'll throw out there is that, and I don't, it's been a long time since I wrote code, but when I was sort of first learning, back in the day, I made the move from BASIC to C++, and I was all excited about it. And I remember a professor telling me, you've got to be careful with C++ because it gives you enough rope to hang yourself with. And I sort of feel that Android's a little bit that way as well, which is to say it's incredibly open and really exciting. But there's been some bad experiences from people with apps that misbehave. And certainly I live in a little bit of a location-centric world, but location is one of those things. And so I'm super excited about some of the location-centric applications, the alerting. I want to be notified when I'm near my friend or when I pass a place. But if that's coded poorly, you're going to destroy the user experience. And so I'm at the same time excited and a little bit worried about the trend for the open phones, but particularly with respect to location and battery life processing, those kinds of things.
Makes sense.
Yes, I just had a quick question for Location Labs. Is there anybody out there now, or any examples of companies that are doing maybe location-based mobile couponing with redemption well?
So they haven't, yes, but they haven't launched yet. I don't think in any way they can talk about publicly. And so I can just, unfortunately, I got to pull one of those sort of stay tuned moves. But yeah, there's a whole, we've coined the term internally as something that we call the physical click-through, which is this concept of taking the online click-through, the sort of quote-unquote revolution in online advertising is you don't pay for the impression, you pay when somebody clicks to get to your site. And so you can imagine doing that same kind of thing with physical locations. And again, Android, with certain, intelligent coded SDKs, make that possible to do, but it's certainly really exciting as a scenario if I can know as an advertiser that I actually drove a user to my retail location. And you see that it's moved from the web to, it's happening in calling today, in IVR, 1-800 number scenarios, but I think it's just a matter of time before it happens physically as well.
Yes?
For the gentleman from Build Mobile, so in terms of mobile payments right now, I know that there are companies out there that are kind of in the social networking space, something like Build that I'm familiar with. It is kind of, and even they have said that it's kind of a congestion field right now because there's so many people doing mobile payments. What type of services are you mostly focusing on? Are you in the social networking space, or do you plan to integrate with, like, in South Korea, a place like that, like I go to a Coke machine and I can say, I want to buy my Coke through my phone. And do you see the industry going in that space, and what space will you consolidate?
Sure. I sort of bracket the space in the, think of a stool, that's the whole mobile payments, The three-legged stool would be on one side near field communications, as you sort of referred to, and then one of the stools would be remote commerce, which is really what you're hearing, and I think there's different phases of that. So right now, the sole focus is to be able to be a great online payment option for using the phone. They've had some experiments with near-field communications, not very successful experiments. But yeah, in terms of social networks, anything online, that's our play. Certainly, that'll come in different phases. I think for social networks, it's more micro-type payments. It's not like you're going to buy a refrigerator using your mobile phone, but unlikely. I think there's been some bill shock with parents that get the huge bill. I think I've heard $20,000 bill was one of the highest ones I've seen. But people don't want to see
gambling.
Yeah. That's right. But in Korea, as you use the example, they started off with a $35 spending cap per month. then they increased it to 50, and then they increased it to 200. It's now $250 spending cap in Korea. But on average, do you know what the monthly charge is for a phone? It's $50. So there's a comfort zone that I think people are willing to spend on a mobile phone. In Korea, it seems to be shaping up at about a $50 rate. So anything below $50, I think is fair game.
Well, it's more than easy to use, being able to use the deal deals.
That's exactly right. And so, yeah, I do think there's a long-term strategy in play to amalgamate it, to unify different payment options, including near-field communications. That's probably a couple of.
Great, well, it's almost 8 o'clock, so there's no more questions. If each of you could just give maybe your parting thoughts on what you're really excited about. We talked about that a little bit before. Any last advice before we break up for a little while? That'd be great.
Sure. Circling back just a little bit on Android, from an analytics perspective, we couldn't be happier that Android is doing so well because it's not as controlled an environment, and you have a lot more differences in the hardware and the carriers and what the hardware can and can't do. So selfishly, that's a trend that we like from the analytics perspective because it makes the analytics more powerful. For us, I guess, analytics is not this sexy business. It's basically counting things and counting them well. And it's still very early in terms of what mobile's being used for. So I think we're just excited as applications get more e-commerce oriented, you're going to need analytics. As there's a lot easier ways to do in-app purchasing, you're going to need analytics. So I think those trends for us are all very exciting because we sort of play a base layer in the ecosystem on that.
Yeah, I think what's really exciting and kind of what we're looking forward to is the fact that the mobile platforms themselves. I mean, mobile has really been that technology that's cried wolf for the last 15 years, and last 3 years we've really seen a new, the iPhone shaking things up, but now Android, and by just about any account, there's going to be 4, potentially 5 extremely relevant platforms. And the reality is, the really, really large customers, your potential customers, they just want to reach the device in people's pockets. And so, being able to find solutions that solve problems for you to reach those devices, I think that's pretty exciting. I think pretty much everybody here on the panel all provide solutions that do that. So,
Joel, any last words of wisdom for the group?
No, well, yeah. So first off, I want to thank Blue Run Ventures for hosting this. I really appreciate it. I think I forgot to initially. I appreciate the microphone certainly. I think up until not so long ago, we were in a location 1.0 world where there were a few smartphones that had open access to location, but really your options as developers were limited. And today, with the iPhone 4.0 release and background processing has certainly made a lot of noise, but even with Android devices, BlackBerry devices, and location as a service, you have the power as developers to locate nearly every phone in the US and on smartphone do some really powerful things with geofencing, range search, complex geospatial calculations. And there are companies out there, a little self-promotion like ours, that make those tools available to you and make those applications easier for you to build. So there's really power in your hands today as application developers to build killer location services like there never have been before. And I think that's really exciting. So it's an exciting place to be. And and I think analytics is sexy, but certainly location is super sexy. So.
Jim, any final words?
I think more than anything, we've, in fact, John, I think we pitched to you last year to raise funds, and we can forecast like nobody's business, especially with a nice spreadsheet. But I'm actually excited to see where the mobile payments, especially our particular niche within a very broader space of mobile payments, gets us. In Korea, we're doing over $1 billion in transactions. The demographics, there's a higher credit card penetration rate in Korea than there is in the U.S. So we've been deployed for almost a month now. It's just kind of really excited to see where the hell it goes. It's promising, but you never know until you're launched. So.
Well, these 4 folks and the companies they represent have a lot of knowledge, so feel free to talk to them afterwards, and let's give them a round of applause.
So you guys can hang out for a couple more minutes. If you guys want to have a seat. This is open mic now. So if you guys want to do announcements for events, if you're hiring, this is the time to do it. I know.
We're hiring good salespeople.